I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up?
Yo,
What's up, y'all?
What's up, you guys? I was having a hard time seeing you. What's up, AfterBuzzers? Thank you for tuning in to another one of our quarantine and chill nights. We're talking about 20s, and we have a lot of big topics to cover in this episode. We have racism and stereotypes kind of going on, intersectionality with Marie, and then we got Hattie trying to balance out, her little side piece, and Ida B, because, that's also a little thing. But before we get into it, I want to start off with, I'm Monty J, and I'm joined with two other lovely hosts.
What's up, y'all? It's your man, D. Tyler Tyson. What's up?
What's going on? It's Cortez, straight from Pokemon.
Hey.
That's what I've been doing in the house. But how y'all doing? Let's get into some things.
Hey. It's always nice to see you guys. We're missing Rochelle, so much love to her. We all trying to stay safe in this Rona environment. But let's get right into the show. Starting off with, I think the introduction kind of, gave us this definition of what it means to be a Todd. So just a quick little recap of what a Todd is. A Todd is somebody that just thinks they know it all. They're pretty much mediocre, but they just carry this I'm not mediocre vibe. So how do you guys feel about that whole introduction? Have you ever been a Todd? Just being real with yourself, or have you been in contact with someone else who was the Todd?
I'll go ahead and go. I've never been a Todd. I don't think I ever will be, because you said mediocre, and that's not me. But I've met people that feel that they need to, overdo things because they know that they may lack in other areas. And I think that may be, in my eyes, what they were trying to get, somebody who's not, up here, but, basically tries to overdo everything to push themselves where they feel like they should be, when they're absolutely knowing that they're not, think they do, or girl, or I guess it was dude in this case. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like Cortez. I will never in life be a Todd. I never have been a Todd. I think that there's a certain level of arrogance that comes with being a Todd, and I'm a confident person, but I'm not arrogant at all. And yes, I have never been that person. I have had to deal with them, and the way that I deal with them is either by not dealing with them, or I love to blow up people's games. So like when you think that you are the ish and you are mediocre, my favorite thing in life is to actually put you in an opportunity to show off the fact that you are mediocre so that you can wake yourself up. So I low-key get off on that.
Yeah. So even with considering that and how they introduced what a Todd was, and then towards the end of the episode, which we'll get into later, they kind of took on this role of like what a Todd would do. But before we get into that, who do you think are the Todds in each of the characters' lives?
That's a good question. Okay, so obviously, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say with Hattie, I think that old girl, y'all know I'm horrible with names, so I apologize to all of our AfterBuzz viewers. The girl that's at the job with Hattie, her kind of competition that sits across from her, chocolate girl. I feel like she's a little bit of a Todd because she thinks she knows everything just because she's been there just a hair longer, but they're in like the same position. But just her aura, she kind of gives off that arrogance that is required to be a Todd. So for Hattie, I think that is definitely the Todd in her life.
Well, I mean, obviously Nia's Todd was the guy that she that she felt was slightly racially profiling her, and vice versa, because I mean, to her, she was just trying to, back a job here, and she stuck with this person that obviously, looks down on her, when really it turns out at the end that he is the one that really can't, take upon this improv role and really push through. So I mean, obviously that's her Todd.
Yeah, that's deep. I would agree with both of you because I was actually thinking about Hattie and the girl that she works with. She's very arrogant and just has that nasty attitude instead of being more, friendly and inviting for Hattie. She was just like, girl, figure it out yourself. Um, so now we might as well get into it now since we're talking about the Todds and mentioning Nia. How do you guys feel about them taking on that role? Do you think that they were fully embodying what it meant to be a Todd, or did they kind of take up space in the right way?
You mean the guy that we're saying was her Todd?
Yeah, so as far as Nia, her Todd, when she decided to take
Yeah.
on the role of a Todd, she was able to kind of intimidate him by playing the nanny role
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so how do you guys feel about them taking on that Todd role and taking up space?
I thought it was very fun to
What's up,
watch. I
Tyler?
thought it was very fun to watch. Honestly, it really was. Like I didn't know where it was going, but I mean, I did. But to see her actually kill it and be successful in it, like I was like, yes, especially 'cause when she was, on the other side, she was struggling for a minute, and she kind of had to, realize like, okay, like I need to look at the bigger picture here. And she obviously, at that point, she had already known what a Todd was. She knew what she was dealing with. She was like, you know what, let me push through, and then I'll get you back later. And that's what she did.
So the interesting thing is as an actor, we're always put in situations, acting and hosting, you're always put in situations where people try you, whether it's on a sexual level or it's on a racist level. Like you're just always being tried, and you have to, because the camera's immediately about to be on, you kind of, or you're in front of people like a crowd, a stage, you have to put your personal feelings to the side and just kind of get through it. And that's kind of what we saw Nia do when the guy was basically setting the scene, and he was like, okay, well, you're gonna be this black girl that you just got a fresh weave or something, and you're just basically playing up all the stereotypes. And then, like you said, she reversed it, and then she was like, okay, well, here's the new thing, you are now this well-to-do guy, but I'm your nanny that took care of you at this time. And she just totally made it a little bit more racially balanced and one-sided for him. But a part of me, because I don't, not trying to play the sympathy card or anything, but a part of me made me stop and think and be like, okay, in that situation, was that guy being racist, or was he being insensitive? Because I don't, for some reason, I don't want to always just be quick to label somebody racist because they play up stereotypes. A lot of times we play up stereotypes because in society, the media, we think that that's what people want. We think, oh, well, if it's a black girl, then she has to have a weave. It's impossible for her to have long hair. That's hers for some reason. But she has to have a weave. She has to come from the hood. She has to be sexually provocative. All of these things, stereotypes. But it's like, are you being racist for thinking that, or are you just being insensitive because you're going along with what everybody else thinks? You get on the Shade Room and all these other blogs, and that's what you see. You see the very stereotypes that we are claiming now to be racist. So I just thought it was a very interesting thing that Lena did by presenting this situation, because it forces not just other races to kind of look at themselves and be like, are you being a racist, or are you just being insensitive? But then it also forces the black people that are involved in this to make you realize, are you perpetuating the stereotypes by doing all of these things and feeding into social norms like social media, the Shade Room, and all these others where they perpetuate the stereotypes, or are you, fixing the situation? So I just thought that was an interesting.
Wow. It's interesting that you even brought that up, because I was going to ask you guys, like, how did you feel about the stereotypes that was presented with Nia? And I'm going to say, I don't think he was being racist. I'm going to say that he was being insensitive. And a lot of times, white people, they're not quick to think about how someone else may feel. And like you said, you're just already playing on what the media is presenting to you. It's kind of unfortunate because you see like people like Tiffany Haddish, maybe even Monique, just having to live out this role constantly. And that's kind of what they the type of jobs that are always constantly given to them. Except for, Tiffany Haddish and Madam CJ Walker, that's a different conversation. But just seeing constantly like Black women having to play this loud and ghetto type of roles, it's kind of played out, but we see that is still a problem. So what about you, Tess? How do you feel about that?
I mean, you have actresses, if you watch the show like RuPaul's Drag Race, like sometimes they have some of the Black queens on there, they play these type roles, but they sometimes, like in their cases, they put themselves in those situations, like they subject themselves to those roles themselves without being, like, obviously for Nia, she was, put into that role. Like she had to, make do with what she received. But in other examples, sometimes the Black women just easy take those roles because that's what they feel like, that's what they are best at, So,
and it's easy money. And it's like, like, and I look at someone like Taraji or Vivica or someone earlier on in their career, even Halle Berry to some extent. I mean, she did do Babs. Early on in their career, they took on these roles because those were the roles that were available. And as we said before we went live, the rent is always due. So no matter what, why not taking this role isn't going to stop the masses from watching the movie when they put somebody else in it. And it's not going to stop the production companies from making it. So my job is to actually kill this role in this, Blaxploitation role, if you will, kill this role and then elevate my game so that I can then take on more serious roles like a Hidden Figures, like a Taraji P. Henson, just a more serious role and not just such a Black stereotypical role.
I'm here to say that, I understand back in the day that was, the norm, but now I don't really like those roles, and I think that those roles are played out actually. So like, it's just,
But
because
but
I mean, at the end of the day. Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was just gonna say, but that kind of that was Hattie's argument, episode 1 of this show, when she, or maybe episode 2, when she went and started working for Ida. Her issue is that Ida, who I keep telling y'all reminds me of somebody else in this industry, but Ida keeps
Tyler, you need to let us know real quick. You need to let us know who that is.
Give us some.
I got work to do. No. You will not stop. You will not.
You're right. You're right.
You will not.
Just give us a little bit.
Nope. But that was her issue, was that, okay, here's this prominent Black production company and this Black woman that produces all of these programs, these TV shows, but they're also predictable. They're all kind of stereotypical, the typical Black woman, typical Black guy. This is what the storyline is going to be, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was her argument the first couple episodes. So it's like, that's all we've been talking about since this show began.
And I think it made for a really great conversation amongst us, just, having the different perspectives or viewpoints. Because for me, I would say that the role is pretty outdated, and it kind of does us a disservice because this is how people think that we all are because of these roles. But now you have people like Viola Davis, who right out the gate, I have not seen her take a role where she had to be ghetto or this type of person. So I'm gonna go with the side of. You said
they have different.
I said she went the other way.
Of roles that she's. I was gonna say,
she'll be a slave in a heartbeat. She might not be ghetto. She might not be ghetto. But this is the issue in Hollywood.
That is very true.
If you're Black, you're either the roles that are just always available. I mean, on Ready, any given day, you can go out and audition for the following roles as a Black female specifically. You can either be the Black ghetto girl with the weave and the overly sexualized person, that stereotype, or you're going to be the slave. One of the two. There's very rarely do you find, unless someone goes and creates the role, or goes and creates and makes their own low budget production or whatever. Very rarely is there that middle ground where you see the multi-layered different complexities of the Black woman. It's like you get two, either the slave or the ghetto girl. That's it.
Wow. Well, you know what? If you're watching right now, please give us your opinion on this topic. Let us know how you're feeling about these roles and these stereotypical roles that they, give us Black people. So let's just move right along into the relationship with Hattie and what's homegirl's name?
Coffee shop girl. Coffee shop girl.
Coffee shop girl, but her boo thing, her side
Coffee
piece.
shop
I cannot
babe.
remember the side piece name. What is the side piece name?
You know, it's not my area.
The distraction. Remember? We gave her name too. It was a distraction.
Distraction. We did. We said we're just gonna call her Distraction. So Hattie and the Distraction, and then the coffee shop girl. So it's just kind of tough for me to see the coffee shop girl and Hattie really connecting, but their relationship really does seem organic and genuine versus Hattie and the Distraction. So with the Distraction walking in with her Todd, how did you guys feel about that? Are y'all tired of her yet?
Yes.
Yeah, she just comes out of nowhere, and she comes and she's there for 5 seconds, and within 5 seconds, she makes like the most noise. I mean, I guess that's good for her, but when she comes in, it's always like a shift in whatever is going on in that moment.
Yeah.
So
I feel so bad for Hattie. Once again, Lena, I keep saying she has been following me around, and I have been Hattie, it seems like, in every single one of these situations. I haven't dated like a Hollywood exec or anything. Well, not yet anyway. But that situation, you can tell Hattie's being played. You can tell that the distraction has Hattie wrapped around her finger. The fact that Hattie will forego a genuine connection, an innocent genuine connection, because it's not like they're sleeping together. It's not like they're doing anything. They're legit just connecting and conversing and having these serious conversations. And then in walks the distraction. And then you act like you don't even know this girl at all. Like, that says a lot about you and your character. But then it also just kind of shows that Hattie may be acting out of her character because she's so caught up in this girl. And so, you know, all logic and everything goes out the window when the distraction walks
in.
Yeah. I mean, with Hattie, and so this girl has obviously liked her from the beginning. But I think the only thing that I wish she would have done was say that she doesn't. What did she say? What did she say? She said they don't really know each other. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And when she said that, I was like, okay, well, you didn't say that. You could just say, oh, this is, so and so work at the coffee shop. I mean, that's downplaying it, but that ain't saying like, oh, I don't know her like that. I ain't with her. That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting. Like, I'm not with her. Like, don't think that, because obviously, but her relationship with the distraction, I don't get, because I mean, she is never really with her. She's always just pops up, and then like they go their separate ways, and that's it. Like, you don't really see her trying to like actively pursue her. So I don't understand why is she so wrapped around her finger. Like,
and you don't owe her anything. Like, y'all aren't together. Like, y'all aren't even seriously dating. So even if you were sleeping with this girl, why you gotta lie, Craig? Like, just
because you know what? I'm gonna say, just to go back to something that Ida B told Hattie about, if you really wanted something serious, you would not be chasing after this girl. So I just feel that Hattie, this show is called 20s, so she has a lot to learn. And, I would be lying to say that I haven't been in a situation like that. And it's easy to get caught up in something that is not going to be. And you'll downplay all the other people who really want you because you over here like, I want this.
You better preach on this Thursday night. You better preach. You better preach.
It happens, and it has happened to the best of us. So I just think that Hattie just has a lot of growing to do. Even in her career, her job with Ida B, we've seen her go to a party, like leave work to go to a party when she had the opportunity to really build, a work relationship with Ida. So I'm gonna just say, Hattie's just got a lot of growing to do. And, it's unfortunate for the coffee shop girl because I could, her feelings were a bit hurt. But I think that relationship is going to unfold and become something bigger. So what do you guys think about the relationship between her and the coffee girl?
I like her. I liked her from the beginning because, she seems very genuine. Now, I will say, looking at them two, based off what I see in the world and looking at those two, I don't see, what type of couple they are, but I'm saying it's not for me to understand. I don't know, because obviously the coffee girl, she really likes Hattie, And I think Hattie, well, I don't think, maybe not this season. She will never come around to, liking her, but I like her. And I hate that she did that. But at the same time, this girl also, to Hattie's, honestly, to her side, she may just think this is just a friend who really know, she doesn't really know how this girl feels. She hadn't really expressed any interest to her. They just been having casual conversation. So on a friend level, it's still hurtful, but in terms of like a connection, Hattie's really not at fault because she doesn't know how this girl feel about her.
I agree with you, but I also think that when you're flirting with somebody, and when you're attracted to someone, even if y'all haven't had the conversation, even if we haven't even gone down the road of expressing how I feel about you per se, when somebody's flirting with you, and when you're having special, because you can have an intimate moment via conversation with someone that doesn't require clothes coming off or close proximity. It doesn't require any of that. It's just the nature of what y'all are talking about. And so I just think that that relationship highlights, like you said, Imani, she is in her 20s. She has a lot of growing to do, but it also highlights that she's just not ready or looking or able to be completely honest with herself, thus being honest with others. And I think that is the most important lesson to take away from this entire show, which is you have to be honest with the barista girl. She should, after last night's episode, she should be able to walk away from this situation saying, you know what, I can be cool with Hattie, potentially. But as far as anything romantic, anything serious, absolutely not. Because you see at any given moment, she's gonna turn on you. She's not ready to embrace you seriously, taking you serious. She's not even able to articulate her true feelings at this moment. And when somebody's showing you that, no need to get upset, no need to argue, just accept it and adjust. That's all.
But she won't.
That's deep.
But she won't.
Right.
She's gonna still
for the
be
sake
like,
of the show. And she looks really young herself. So, she
I
might
like
stick around a little bit. And I think it's, Tez, my bad. Are you talking?
No, go ahead. No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's like a little muffled. But I think it's really interesting that they make this, side piece the distraction, but then this coffee girl, in the beginning, she was able to help Hattie break through her writer's block, just by offering little suggestions. So here you have this distraction. And then here on the other side, you have someone that you really actually relate to. And they're not trying to take you off your path. Instead, they're trying to add some value to it in some type of way. And she's just not even able to really see that. But, I do see a friendship forming despite what happened. Yeah. So now moving on into, so we kind of covered, the stereotypes and Hattie's situations. So now about Marie. I know, Tez, this is your girl. We finally get to see Marie feel. Tyler, this your girl too?
As of last week.
Just as of last week, this is now my girl.
So you done traded sides. We finally got to see Marie feel. We seen her, actually, I don't think she shed any tears, but we know that Marie did not get the promotion, unfortunately. But this was a little glimpse into her life where we tried to get her to feel and just to accept her feelings. And I think that part of the show really touched on intersectionality, as I've mentioned before. And I think they've kind of been covering on it this whole season. But the Black guy was able to get the job. And I think that in corporate America, even though you're Black, but you're a guy, you still kind of take precedence over Black women because they take on, the role of being Black and also a woman. So they're still oppressed like double ways. So I think it was just interesting that Marie did not get the promotion and the other guy did. So how do you guys feel about that?
So I want to take it some steps back when she first found out that she didn't get the promotion, and she was talking to her boyfriend, And just I noticed this within their relationship, and you can tell me if you guys caught this or agree. But basically, she said that it's your job to make me feel better. And when she said that, that was another indicator to me that she is clearly, put her boyfriend in a box based off, I guess, what it means to be masculine and whatever she assumes it to be, and so he's just like, that's not my job to make you feel better. My job is to, what do you say?
To be honest with you.
To be honest with you. And that just goes to show, I think he's a really good guy. I'm even past the whole rumors of him being gay. I think her character has just made us box him just like she's boxed him. And he's obviously, just stuck with, not stuck. He's obviously with Marie. And yeah, that's what I got from that. Now, to fast forward back to the promotion, I mean, I think it was kind of clear that he was going to get the position. I think that, he kind of was working hard for that. I guess they both were. But at the end, you find out that the previous boss said that they were intimidated. They were like threatened by her. And that, she's obviously that character. Like she is like, a Miranda Priestly in the making. Like I felt that. Like I felt that maybe they would work under her and be scared of her because she was just wanted that position so bad, which they both did. But her personality gave, monstrous boss. So yeah, I was unfortunate to hear that she didn't get it. But I mean, watching that whole thing happen, it just made more sense as to why she didn't get the position. Even based off of what you're saying when it comes to a black male versus a black female. I think it's just her.
Agreed. So I really enjoyed Chuck, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
For the first time in this entire season. I felt like everything he said, his approach to her was appropriate. I also think that he gives her what she gives him. As you said, Imani, we didn't see not one tear fall. She was quote unquote emotional, but we didn't see one tear fall. She kind of comes off very robotic, stoic, ice queen, if you will. And I feel like what we see with their interaction is him giving her that same kind of stoic, cold, dry response. And I do agree with him. Well, it isn't his job to make her happy. It is his job to to stay honest, but kind of it is his job to make her happy at times. Like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you do lean on them a little bit, and you want to get to a place where they can anticipate your needs and wants without you even having to say anything. Like, I don't want to have to tell you, oh, I had a bad day today and I need you to do X, Y, and Z to make me try to get a little bit in a better mental place so that I can move on beyond it. Like, I kind of want you to already know how to do that. But then with the promotion thing, it's interesting because working in media, listening and being so into the lives of Black women and all of that, my experience is the complete opposite of what the media and everybody else is saying is going on. Because what I see when I was working in corporate America were the Black women that were excelling. Educated Black men, with whether you have degrees or not, in most time, unless there's a good old boys club or like the men are running the show, you usually come at the end. It's usually the women that run. When it's time to fire people, everyone gets fired except for the women. I even had to, I'm not gonna say, but I had to sue a company, a major Fortune 500 company, for discrimination because of the simple fact that as a Black man that was beyond qualified, promotion after promotion after promotion after promotion, I kept getting looked over. But my boss was a woman. The people that kept getting promoted over me were women. Like, it was just you never saw Black men going up the chain, no matter how many degrees you have, no matter how much experience you have. So I do think that Black women, of course, obviously have a serious struggle. And if there is a boys club, especially, and it also depends on your industry. You talk politics, and of course we know men, whether you're Black, white, or whatever, you definitely have an easier path than, even gay, you have an easier path than you do women. Women always have to be, the cream of the crop. And even when you have the cream of the crop, look at 2016, you still don't, the best person still doesn't get it. So I think it just all depends on your industry. There's certain industries that are just heavily male dominated, politics and whatever industry Marie happens to be in. But I don't think it's like that across the board.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Just considering all of this that both of you have said, the only thing that we have seen, I cannot recall. What is the Black guy who got the promotion? Do you remember his name?
His name Ben?
I'm bad with all of these.
I feel like his name is Ben.
Ben?
Yeah, I think
okay, so Ben. We haven't really, I don't recall seeing his work ethic or his strategy to, you know, win over her. We seen him taking a trip. I don't know if that was a business trip, but he was leaving. But we were able to see her build this connection with Iman. What's his name? It was a F boy name.
Quintrell.
Quintrell.
Yeah. Quintrell. So, you know, we were able to see her build this connection with Quintrell, and that's somebody that they really wanted. So it's just interesting that they put that on there, because while it might not be all across the board, this is an issue that, you know, is here. But yeah, so I think we've covered everything in this episode. How do you guys, what are your predictions? Tez, you want to start?
Well, I wonder, is Quintrell going to make an appearance? Because they wrote him in, you know, they kind of teased us with this little spicy little session, and we didn't get the session, so I'm like, what's going on with that? So hopefully he comes back, you know.
Because we know you were waiting on this session.
Right, I was like waiting on this session if nobody else was. And then I think they're going to take it back to Hattie. This episode was really focused on Marie and Nia, I think specifically. So now they may bring back in the ties of the barista. And then now we have, it seems like with Ida, there's an issue between Ida and Hattie. So I think the next episode, which is the finale, will be heavily on Hattie specifically. Because I don't know where they could really go with Marie. Because, you know, her boss is basically, he's not asking her to quit, but he's kind of asking her to quit. It's kind of weird, you know, the tone which he gave. And then Nia, you know, she's like she's up here. So maybe they'll bring back in Big Sean. I don't know. So my prediction is simply, I think that Hattie's about to be fired.
Oh, okay. You say Hattie's about to be fired?
Yes. I think something's about to happen drastic with Hattie. She's just been having a good ease coasting time, and I think she's gonna have to get a wake up call in some kind of way. And I think that's probably the one thing that she needs, because nothing else is like clearly is waking her up, you know. So
I'm a little bit confused, and Cortez, you just reminded me of something that just confused the hell out of me. Her interaction, Marie's interaction with her boss, when they were standing out in the parking lot, and then they got like right up in your face, like they were about to have like a whole moment. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? I didn't see that. That kind of caught me off guard, because maybe that's why you didn't get your promotion. Have you been flirting all up in your boss's face? Did you give him some and then it didn't work? So now, you know, he don't want you up there in the upper echelon because, you know, you were just a hit it and quit it type situation. I don't know. But I think I agree with everything you said. I think the next episode is going to be focused. Sorry, can y'all still hear me? Sorry, low battery.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think that the next episode will be basically focused on Hattie. I wish it would be focused on Marie, because I'm more interested in that storyline. I told y'all last week I really don't even care about Hattie's storyline anymore.
Oh,
yeah. You know what? Marie's storyline has gotten so dramatic. And I can't think of this movie with Taraji, but I think that Marie is going to go start her own company, and she's going to link up with Iman Shumpert or Quintrell. Yeah, so I could see the way Marie looked as she walked off from her boss was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like I seen the power in her. Since she doesn't have those emotions, she's not super feely and all of that. She's not really connected. I think that helps her as a businesswoman. And now she's just going to use that energy and just do her own thing. So I see that happening with Marie. I think that her relationship with Chuck is not going to last simply because she's too guarded. And I don't think he is gay at this point. I think they kind of did that purposely just to show you that, you know, some people have kinks. There's no need to kink shame. And that doesn't mean that they are this or that. And I like how, Tez, you mentioned this box that she's put him in, and it just automatically made us put him into this box as well. I think it was deep that he said, you know, it's my job to be honest with you. So I think he has been honest with her. With Nia, I think Big Sean is around to teach her a lesson. It's kind of hard to say if he's really being, you know, loyal. Well, they aren't together. So who's it? I don't know who he's messing with, but it is a little tough that he doesn't have a phone, and we rarely see him. But when she gets into these moments where she's questioning herself, then he does pop up. So he's like, you know, he's keeping her grounded. So I think he is going to make another return, because now she done dealt with this stereotypical Hollywood Black girl type of role. So I think he's going to come and just make her, you know, just get in touch with her true self. He's really good for that. And then with Hattie, it's really hard to say what's going to happen with Hattie. I like how, you know, things has kind of been easy for her. So I think that maybe her and Ida B, they might kiss or get a little intimate. And that's when Ida B is going to toss her. So that's what I think. I don't know.
I do want to mention that also in the preview for the finale, there was something related to Marie and her birthday. So maybe I think we will see more Marie. I think I didn't mention it in our predictions, but as I remember that they showed like the next, you know, like the first couple